Hey, good Monday morning, everybody. It is really great to be back with you all again. It's a beautiful day today, and the weather forecast, is looking so much better. Tanner Bank will be a reality for Tuesday. I know the Pride is going to go tonight. At least that's the plan. And while I think they might have a little bit of a bumpy ride out, not too bad. When they get out to the bank, things are going to get better and better and better. And I think that fish is going to bite because the Freedom, as you well know, had a really good day out there here recently. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the weather. We'll talk about Ensenada. And of course, we'll talk about the Channel Islands, where the guys from the 540 Slingers Club recently had a great day on the Aloha Spirit. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, so good. Hey everybody, it is great to be back with you all. It is Monday. Things are looking so much better. We've got a lot of great stuff to cover with you. Weather and of course our raffle and so much more. Before I go any further, could you please do me a favor and just smash that thumbs up. That like button really helps us so very much. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Tick the bell and you'll be notified when there's new content. And also share our video with a friend. It is all deeply appreciated. It's helping us to build and build and build and build. Today is a very important day in Mexico. They celebrate the Dia de Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe, the Virgin of Guadalupe, a hugely religious day there. So we send all our very best to not only the people of Mexico, but Mexicans around the world, including here in the United States. It's a really big day. All right, the raffle going along great. The drawing's January 19th. The top prize, among other stuff, is a 2-day trip on board the Apollo, and you can take part in it. All you got to do is send me a text to 657-227-6459, and I'll send you exactly how you can get in. We can do it all by text. You can meet me at the landing. Whatever floats your boat. We just would love you to participate in this latest Friedman Adventures raffle. It is a good one, and I hope you are lucky and get a win out of this thing. All right, let me, as always, start you south of the border, down there around Ensenada, and the weather is going to be beautiful here for the rest of the week. Should be nice for the guys down there at Bluefin Sport Fishing, Arnie's Sport Fishing, and also our friends over there at Costa Baja Sport Fishing. That's Diego Nuno and his crew. Great lingcod fishing down the coast. Blackfin has no problem burning fuel and running down there to the Soledad Bank and other areas down there off Santo Tomas, and it has been really outstanding, getting better and better and better. Victor from Blackfin explains that as the water gets cold, those lings move from the deeper water up into the shallows, and man, you can go in there and just bounce an iron off the bottom, drop a mackerel down. There's all kinds of different ways to take those fish, and they are really starting to chew. And really all you need is good water. And by that I mean no wind and not rough seas. And it looks like as we come out of Monday, the rest of the week looks good. Perhaps by the weekend we get some wind, but that's a ways off in the future. It's only Monday morning, so we'll wait to make a decision on that. They have your tackle. You don't even have to show up with tackle. If you're going with Blackfin, they will have that all taken care of. And once again, we are going to plan some trips really, really soon with Victor, so that if you're hesitant about going to Mexico, I'll be right there by your side to take you down and have some fun. So we'll have that for next year. Victor and I need to talk about that, and we'll get that all ironed out. So some really nice fishing going on. Now, a little bit further down the pond, and I'm talking down to San Martin, there's some stupendous barb perch fishing going on down there at Colonette. Those areas are just producing these big, giant barb perch right now. I am dying to make a trip down there. I'm trying to talk my kids into it. We got to jump down there. Everybody's so busy, and it's that time of the year when the holidays are here. But perhaps we can sneak down there on a day and make things happen because it's really, really good. But San Martin Island continues to kick out some yellowtail. We're coming out of that weather down there. Also, yo-yo iron has been a great way to take those yellows. And of course, there's a variety of great bottom grabbers biting down there like bocaccio and lingcod and reds, vermilion rockfish, treefish, whitefish, sheep's head. You name it, it has been really good. And the same thing's going up there on the Soledad Bank. I didn't mention some of those species earlier, but I am re-emphasizing the fact that they're down there also. So south of the border looks pretty good. And, we're talking about south of the border. San Diego-based boats like the Relentless and several other boats are going to start after the first year making that trek down to Collinet, where you'll find great bottom fishing, but at times some really good yellowtail action. A lot of fish like to bite on the yo-yo iron down there. I wouldn't fish with anything less than 60 pound. There are some really bad neighborhoods down there. By that I mean rocky areas where those yellows can saw you off, and they're adept at doing that. They'll bite that jig and then run right toward one of those rocks and saw you off, unless you can put the brakes on them. So if you're going to yo-yo iron on those trips, I wouldn't go less, all right, maybe 50, but I like 60, and sometimes I'll even go heavier than that. Really, really excellent fishing down there on the rockfish, and at times the yellowtails start to really chew down there. We're going to be watching that. Still a little ways off in the future, but just so you know, because the rock cod closure will take place in California on the 1st of next year. So 2023, the first 3 months are off on rockfish. We're going to have some alternative, and the alternative is Mexico Lindo, going down to Mexico, either driving down and fishing with the guys at Blackfin or jumping on a San Diego-based boat, whatever is best for you, whatever you feel best about. It is good down there, and it offers that alternative to those of you who need to get your rockfish fix. So we'll continue to monitor that for you very, very closely. All right, let's talk bluefin tuna. Let's talk Tannerbank. Of course, nobody's been out there because it has been awful out there. I mean, it got up to 25 plus knots, really snotty weather. Now, I just talked to Trevor Downing from the Freedom, and Trevor and I had a conversation about what went on out there. He said mostly 18 to 20 pound fish, 25 pound bluefin tuna, but he said they had a shot at over 50 fish. And for December, or really any time, that's some really good fishing. They did have some couple fish up over 30 pounds also. Those fish biting on the sardine. Sometimes you got to drop that fluorocarbon way down, like to 20 pound, and fish your number 4 hook. www.optionusa.com. Put in FA, Friedman Adventures, at checkout for a free gift and a handwritten note from Greg Brown. So keep that in mind. Sometimes you have to drop it down, and that's why the casualty rate, even though the grade of fish isn't really, really big, when you're down fishing 20 pound with a 4 hook, sometimes you're going to lose fish. However, you have to get bit before you catch them. And if it requires that you drop down to that, I would have that with you. If you can get away with 25, 30, 40, you see the bite and the intensity of the bite goes up, then you're going to want to switch to that. Now, squid is different. Not always. Sometimes they're finicky on that also, especially with this drop in water temp, and we'll get a better idea of what that water is. Looks to me like it's around 55 degrees out there right now, but it might recoup here as that wind goes away, and we're going to have a nice week of weather once we get through Monday. By Tuesday, it looks really good. Right into Friday out there, it looks good. By the weekend, we may get some more weather. We'll have to watch it. Back to the squid. Sometimes you have to fish the light, but a lot of times you can fish the 30, 40, 50, 60 pound fluorocarbon and get a bite. It hasn't been that way here recently. It's been mostly a finicky kind of bite where those fish want the lighter stuff, but I would bring a rod with 25, 40, and 60, and you should be in really, really good shape. Now, the Freedom and the Pride going tonight, those guys also dedicate some time to putting some color in the fish holds, and by that I mean they're going to catch some rockfish. So, man, in years gone by, you would never ever see a trip where you're catching bluefin tuna and lingcod on the very same trip, and now it is an absolute reality, and the reality is here in December. It's phenomenal, really great stuff. So the Pride may get a little bumped around on the way out there. I don't think it's going to be as bad as it looked a few days ago. It looks like that weather has come down nicely, and then you're going to have some breezy conditions. It's going to be very breezy there in the beginning, but by the afternoon, it's going to be really nice, quite lovely as a matter of fact, and hopefully that drop in water temp that we see is not going to have an adverse effect on the bite. If I had to guess, I'd say Probably not. Probably not. I mean, this bluefin just keeps biting and biting and biting. It is such a resilient bite, and fingers are crossed that it's going to continue to head in the right direction. And again, that long-range forecast for breezy weather on the weekend, we'll tackle that when we get a little bit closer. Sometimes when you're this far out, you just don't get an accurate forecast, so we'll keep our eyes on that and see what happens. So that's looking pretty darn good. Now, let me take you down south of the border, talk islands. I've already talked about down there, San Martin Island, Todos Santos off Ensenada, a few lingcod, but smaller fish, and a few rockfish, and occasional yellowtail and bonita in there also. We look at Clemente, and not many guys are fishing it. They're all blowing by it and fishing the bluefin. But the few private guys that I've talked to there are doing good on the rockfish, with an occasional yellowtail there also, and some wintertime calicos, especially if you have the squid, fresh dead or live, working equally as good. Really, really good fishing if you have that. And then Catalina, some yachts still taking sea bass there, and at Santa Barbara Island, sport boats are catching bonita and rockfish for the most part at Cat. And Santa Barbara's got good rockfish. And then the Channel Islands, man, how can it get any better? There's just such great fishing, and the weather, it's going to come down beautifully. They had some wind up there over the weekend, but now it's looking really, really good. By Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're going to have some really fine fishing indeed. The guys from the 540 Slingers Club, Jeff Yeomans, and those guys are such fantastic human beings, and they were out here recently on the Aloha Spirit right before all this wind manifested itself. Out on Saturday, they fished the west end of Santa Cruz Island with live squid, and they had sheepshead and whitefish and copious amounts of bottom fish. Jeff said it was just another great time on board the Aloha Spirit. Sean Stewart's boat. Sean is not on the boat all the time, but Sean is a good friend of mine for many, many, many years. Upstanding, awesome family guy, and you gotta love it when friends, Jeff, the guys from the 540, Aloha Spirit, all come together. It is really fantastic. Speaking of good friends, Tucker McComb's up there out of Ventura Sport Fishing. All their boats still catching good rockfish, and they got a nice week ahead of them. It's looking really, really good up there. 805-676-3474. That bottom bite should be really, really good. Now, along the coast, I'm talking half to and three-quarter, very good rock fishing for the most part. A lot of guys are doing quite well. This cold water is really producing some really great rock fishing from the Mexican border all the way up to Morro Bay, California. It's really great fishing right now, so that should continue. And in the surf, you know, there's a few guitar fish. I even caught one the other day. That was fun. There's some halibut being taken on Lucky Crafts kind of lures, and there's still some yellowfin croaker and more barred perch. That barred perch bite south of the border down there at about 120 miles to 140 miles is phenomenal right now. Really, really good fishing going on the barred perch. I love that kind of fishing. All right, don't forget, raffle tickets. Get in on this thing, please. We are going to draw that on January the 19th, so send me a text at 657-227-6459. We were planning our Monte Carlo kids trip for the 16th of December. That has been postponed to January the 6th. If you'd like information on how you can join us January the 6th, then send me a text to that very same number, 657-227-6459. But remember, no trip on December the 16th. We have postponed to a day that we think is better because kids are still off school, and you'll be able to come out with your kids or grandkids and have some fun. That new date, once again, January the 6th, 2023. Just send me a text. I'll tell you how you can get on that fantastic trip. All right, what else can I say? Hit that like button. Thanks for all you do for us here at Friedman Adventures. I like the way the weather is coming down. My only concern about Tanner is that drop in water temp. We'll have to see what happens. They're going to catch lots of rockfish on that trip, that is for sure. Will they catch bluefin tuna? I'll tell you what. Why don't you drop a comment right now and say, yeah, I think they're going to catch, well, let's put the over-under. I'll put an over-under on this pride trip. 25 bluefin tuna. So you're going to bet over 25 they'll catch on this trip or under 25. My bet is over 25. I got a lot of confidence in those guys. and I'm thinking that bluefin is going to bite right through it. So put a comment up, over 25 or under 25. What the heck? We might as well have some fun with this. Thanks, everybody. Always a pleasure to be with you. Enjoy your Monday. Tuesday, the weather looks good. By the way, the coastal weather is perfect if you want to come down and jump on the Monte Carlo, the half-day boat of your choice. It's looking good down there out of Dana. We've seen the first gray whale of the year, so that's a good sign. The gray whale migration is underway. Lots of great stuff going on here in the outdoors in Southern California. Can't thank you enough. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you all. I'm back Tuesday with another morning briefing. Tuesday night, a live show. Thursday night, the Danny Cadota Show live. So much great stuff going on here at Friedman Adventures, and we owe it all to you. Take care. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. And I hope to see you really, really soon.